Hello and welcome to today's video. If you're new here, welcome, and if you've been here before, I'm glad you're back. Today I am going to do something, well, not something new, but something a bit different, let's say, because I haven't played with my 3D gels in a while, so I thought, you know what, I need to play with them a little bit because I missed it. And I absolutely love playing with my 3D gels, and I was thinking of, doing something because sometimes I don't have an idea just popping up in my head. I have to think about it for a couple of days. I know it's silly, but yeah, there is some kind of creator's block sometimes. So yeah, I was just thinking, summer's coming, what I could do for summer. So I kept on going around and around and around, and then I thought ice cream. I can do ice cream. So then from ice cream, I decided to do a tutorial for my donuts as well, and for some little macarons, because, I mean, come on. They're just the most perfect thing I've ever seen. I know they're made by me and I'm blowing my own whistle right now, but I just love them. I did not expect them to be this good. I know they're not perfect, honestly. I am a realist, but at the same time, I love them. With all my heart, I do love them. Honestly, they're just so cute. So cute. They do look delicious. And then the little chocolates and the strawberry. And then I have the ice cream here with the chocolate dripping. And oh, so nice. And then the donuts. I mean, come on, donuts. Who doesn't like them? And then I decided to do two more nails with pink drips down on them, just to kind of, because it was so much chocolate, I thought I'm gonna break it up with a little bit of pink, I don't know, frosting, something, pink syrup, I have no idea, but it's there and it has sprinkles on it, so I am very happy about that. I really hope you guys are going to enjoy today's video. I know it's not something that, well, the ice cream and the donuts are quite salon viable, I shall say. The macarons take a little bit longer to do. You could still do them for the salon, and you could do them in advance if a client wants them specifically, but they do take a longer time, so it's good you can do them in advance and then attach them. However, they are quite tall, so I didn't realize they're gonna be this tall when I made them, because they look teensy, really teensy, really tiny, but they're not. They're actually quite big, considering these tips are quite big. So yeah, I should have done them even smaller. I didn't realize they're gonna be this big. Anyway, so yeah, as I said, maybe this one is not necessarily a salon viable, but it's good for competitions and stuff like that, so you could always just keep that technique in mind for whenever you need it for a comp or something. Other than that, the rest of the nails are quite salon viable. They are quite easily wearable, if that makes sense. Your clients would not have an issue wearing them, whereas with this, they might lose those macarons quite quickly. Anyway, I talked for oh my god, almost 4 minutes. So with all of that said, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope that if you do, leave a comment down below, like this video, subscribe, and maybe share it with your friends. And, I'll start doing some nails. I'm first going to start off with Glitterbell's Best Friend, and I'm gonna apply 2 layers of this in Q-Reach for 30 seconds in my LED lamp. And this is a beautiful nude sheer kind of color with a really light gold sparkles in it. It's really pretty, so yeah, it's also quite a nice color to use as a background because it's light. If you feel like it's a bit too sheer for you, you can apply a 3rd layer. Is just the nature of the gel polish, it's not the fact that it's not pigmented or anything like that, it's just how it is. Then I'm gonna use Crazy in Pink from Glitterbell's, and I'm also gonna use this dotting tool that has a really big dotting tool and then a medium one, and also the Glitterbell's middle liner, because that's my favorite brush to use. So yeah, and I'm starting off with first applying some dots of that gel polish in different sizes. and I'm not curing these, so just keep them uncured for now. You also saw me removing the sticky layer off of 2 nails. I did this because I didn't know exactly how I'm gonna want the drips, if they're gonna be shiny or matte yet. So I decided I'm just gonna top coat them and see how it looks, and then I decided to make them shiny. If you want to make them the same way as I did, I would recommend, before going in with this pink to create the drips, you can put a matte top coat to just kind of skip the step of putting the matte top coat over the top of a design, to, you know, having the chance of it bleeding everywhere or something like that. You can always put it underneath, and then that's gonna make your life easier. And this painting here is gonna be so much easier because you have a matte surface and not just like a gel polish kind of surface, which is still kind of a little bit shiny even though you remove the sticky layer. So keep that in mind. It's gonna make your life easier. So yeah, that's why I did it. Anyway, a little bit about this is to make sure that you are happy with everything before you cure, and make sure you go around and like neaten everything up, and look at it a few times to make sure you are happy with the placement of everything, because this can look a bit weird. I know I made it look very weird sometimes, and even with this one I'm maybe not 100% happy, but you know what, it's fine. It's gonna be fine. I need to stop judging my work so much. I guess, I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, just make sure you're happy with everything. Round those drips there to make sure that they are nice and even. And once you're happy, put it in the lamp. Then I'm moving on to the second nail, and I decided to move on to the bottom, like the drips are coming from the tip of the nail. And you can also make this coming from the side. You can have, like, let's say the middle finger could be this pink, and then the ring finger, you could make the drips coming from the side, like from the middle finger towards, you know, the ring finger kind of thing. And just, yeah, you can play with it a lot. It's a versatile kind of design, so you can make it yours. You can make it however you want. Anyway, I did exactly the same thing as I did on the other side. I placed my first dots to make sure that I know where my drips are gonna be, and then I added some like dots here and there, like the whatever that is, chocolate or whatever is like coming down, and you know, it's sprinkling everywhere. Yeah. Anyway, then I applied the velvet matte. As I said, you could have done that before you applied the pink gel polish, and then I went in over the pink gel polish with the ultimate no wipe, because I thought that the drips were not really very discernible from the background. So I thought I'm gonna make them stand out a little bit more by making them shiny, and I'm so happy I did that. It made such a big difference. Plus, whatever it would be that would be this liquid, it might be shiny. So yeah, I really wanted it to be quite in focus compared to the background, although the background is simple anyway. But yeah, anyway, I'm obviously using the detailer brush to do this, and if you feel like your no wipe top coat is moving too much, it's like spreading around too much, make sure you give it a flash cure in between like dots and stuff like that to make sure it stays in place, and then give it a full cure at the end. Then I'm going in with Ink London's no wipe gel paints, and I'm using the green, the blue, the purple, the pink, orange, and the yellow. I think the only one that I didn't use is another pink. I think they have another pink, but I really liked this one. I think the other one looks a bit more purplish, so that's kind of the difference between them. And I felt like I already have a purple, and you know, I didn't want to go too far, so I just didn't use the other one. But I'm using this to create the sprinkles, and I'm actually not curing in between these. You can if you want to. I just didn't find the need because this gel paint really stays in place, is really nice and thick, and it's perfect to create a bit of texture, which is exactly what is happening here. Like those sprinkles are gonna look like they are actually on top of everything, which is exactly what I wanted. And yeah, as I said, this doesn't have a sticky layer on the top, so after you're done with this, you don't have to do anything else. After all the sprinkles are put on, the nails are done, so that's exactly how I like it, because it's a lot easier. So yeah, I'm just going through all the colors and I'm adding little lines of them, and you can see how pretty it already is. I absolutely love it. So yeah, after all is done, you just give them a 60-second cure, and I'm using the Platinum X from Ink London, so it's what they recommend anyways. Yeah, this is how they both look, and I'm really happy with the fact that I changed the design and they're not both the same, just because it's something different, isn't it? So yeah. Anyway, next nail, I am applying a matte top coat because I decided that I think I'm gonna do this to all of them anyway, but I decided that it's gonna be I'm not gonna need a shiny top coat over the top of anything, so I just put a matte top coat. Then I'm gonna use the 3D Maestro from Ink London. I'm gonna use some cleanser, and then I'm gonna use the 4D Sculpting Gel from Nail Chemie in brown and beige, and this palette knife, because I really like to use this palette knife together with the 4D gel because it just works beautifully together. And I'm gonna mix my own color here. I'm gonna take some of that beige and I'm gonna add a little bit of brown. Maybe it's like ratio to, I don't know, it's like 1 to 1/2, something like that, and then just mix them together until they are uniform. And this is how it looks. Then I'm gonna split it, and I'm gonna take like 3/4 of it and just kind of make it into a bowl and apply it into the middle of that nail and press it down with my glove to create a circle. And then I'm just gonna take my brush with that bit of cleanser. I'm using the dehydrator and primer from Ink London as a kind of cleanser to, you know, work this. And I just took my dotting tool, as you saw, and put it straight in the middle, and I created this donut shape. Then I'm just gonna clean up that middle there, just because it looked a little bit messy. You're gonna see me faffing a little bit too much with this, because that's what I do. I usually faff a little bit too much with stuff like this, but just, yeah, don't faff as much. There's no need. You're not gonna be able to see much, but I'm just trying to clean up a lot. And also, if you get any of that like residue onto the actual nail, make sure you clean it before you actually cure, because otherwise it's going to cure. And in this case, it's not that big of a deal because the colors, the background and the actual donut are quite similar, but if it's a big difference in color, you're gonna be able to see it, and it's not gonna look very nicely. Then I took the rest of that mixed gel and I just kind of made it into I don't know, you see what I've done. I just made it into a half donut kind of thing, and I'm just applying it there. And then I brought in that dotting tool to create that circle in the middle. Also, I need to mention that I did cure the first donut, because obviously if I wouldn't have, then every time I would touch it with to, like, you know, work for the second donut, then you would be able to kind of see where I touched it and it wouldn't look great. So yeah, just to make sure that everything is gonna be fine. And with this one I faffed even more, as you can see here, but just, yeah, honestly, it's not worth faffing so much because you're not going to be able to see a lot of this. You just need that kind of 3D elevated effect, because I'm going to add this brown from Nail Chemie, from their like artisan gel paints. And I'm going to apply this all over that donut. And this is the reason why I said you're not going to be able to see a lot of this, because it's going to be covered in chocolate. Like, who cares about anything else? So yeah, I'm just applying this all over, and make sure you don't apply it way too thick, you need to apply a nice thin layer because these are quite pigmented. So if you don't apply a thin layer, then you're gonna face the issue of them not curing properly. So make sure you keep it quite thin, you know, maybe like you'd apply a gel polish kind of thin. And they're still gonna be a lot more pigmented than a gel polish, obviously. So just, yeah. And plus they're not gonna move as much as a gel polish. So that's the reason why I'm using a gel paint instead of a gel polish, just because. Plus this color was perfect for chocolate, like seriously. And then I'm just gonna kind of make it look like it's dripping on the sides because, I mean, chocolate, oh yeah. So it's dripping down on the sides. I am sorry if I'm making anyone hungry with this video, really am sorry, but I felt like this video needed to be done. So yeah, anyway, I am doing the same thing in the middle. I'm making sure I bring it straight into the middle, and then I'm gonna use this brush from Glitter Bells, which is like one of their gel brushes, because I needed something to apply the gel paint, because they don't have a brush like it, you know, a gel polish has its own brush, the gel paints don't have a brush. So I needed something bigger than my detailer to apply in bigger areas. And I'm doing exactly the same thing as I did on the other two. I'm just doing some drips, and I'm doing them both at the bottom and at the top, because why not? There's chocolate everywhere, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I just love chocolate. And I obviously kept them smaller because I wanted those donuts to be the center of attention, so I didn't want the drips. I wanted them to just like complement the whole thing, not to be in the focus of everything else. So I kept it a bit more simple, a bit smaller, and then I'm adding dots here and there to make sure that, you know, I fill up the nail nicely. And then because this gel paint has a sticky layer on the top, and if you'd remove it, you'd have to, like, it wouldn't be as shiny. I just applied the layer of shiny top coat over the top to keep it nice and like really luscious looking. So yeah, I'm applying a layer of top coat everywhere, and basically I'm doing exactly the same thing as I did with the other drips. Just making sure that if you dripped the chocolate on the sides of the donut as well, make sure you apply the top coat over that as well. So yeah, by the way, my neighbors are really noisy today, and I'm sorry. And there's like this dog barking, it's been barking all morning, so I'm really sorry about it. I kept on waiting for the dog to stop, but it's not. So I needed to do this video to finish editing today, so there you go. Then I just decided to add some sprinkles. I forgot how sprinkles are called. Oh my god. But yes, I'm doing exactly the same thing as I did with the other one, and you can see how you can incorporate one design into like a lot of things, especially when it comes to food. You can add sprinkles on a lot of sweet things and just make them work together, you know, different designs. So I just wanted to show you that, because you're gonna see sprinkles again later on. But yeah, I'm just adding the sprinkles, and I'm doing exactly the same thing. They don't need to be top coated because they are wipe paints, so that's done. Anyway, the next nail, I already applied the matte top coat, and now I'm just taking some of that brown and I'm taking some of that beige, and now I think it's like a 50-50 ratio, but no, it's actually a bit less of that brown, but yeah, it's mostly 50-50. And then I decided to add a bit of yellow to just change the kind of like the tone of the color, just a tad, so it doesn't look that chocolatey. And now I'm just applying it with my gloved hand. Please keep in mind that I wore gloves this whole time. You do not want to touch this with your bare hands. It doesn't matter, even if it would be HEMA free, you need to have gloves on, because you could still get allergies even if it's HEMA free. You're not gonna get an allergy for HEMA, but you're gonna get it to other ingredients, so keep that in mind. Now, what I'm doing here is just making it even basically all over. Maybe halfway up to the nail. I think I might have gone a bit too high with this, but yeah, something like that, about halfway up the nail. And I'm trying to, as I said, to make it even. Look from all the angles to see if you're happy with how it looks. Make sure it's a little bit rounded, it's not just like flat, so it has a bit of like volume to it. And then I'm just gonna use that palette knife. I'm gonna dip it into the cleanser, as you can see me doing here, and I'm just gonna create some lines into it. And this is quite easy to do, honestly. I also went a little bit too deep with my lines, and you're gonna see in a minute what I mean. Not right now. Right now they're fine, but later on I'm going back and I'm kind of ruining it. But keep that in mind. You want to keep these as light as possible. I don't know what I was thinking to go that deep, and then there you go. That's what I ruined it. I went way too deep with that, and then I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna do the rest because I like the placement of them, and I'm gonna do the rest that deep, but there's no need. This is an ice cream cone. You probably figured it out by now, and ice cream cones have those lines, but they are like at the surface. They're not really deep inside because they're really thin. So yeah, keep that in mind. Just don't go that deep as I did. Keep it nice and light, and and then you can also clean up the lines if you messed up anywhere. You just dip your brush into the cleanser and then you go and wipe the lines. Then I moved on to the next bit, and I'm using bright pink from the Artisan 4D gel. Yeah, 4D gel from Nail Chemie. And I am just applying basically a round shape kind of thing that gets exactly next to that cone. And I'm smoothing everything out with my finger again because it's so much easier. If you feel like your finger is sticking to the product, you can dip it in a bit of cleanser, and it's gonna be so much easier than to use the brush to do this. Honestly, such a natural shape, like the brush can't give you that, honestly. Anyway, then I cured that, and now I just created like a little snake of that pink and without curing it, I applied it there, and I'm just using like this dental tool that I have to create a little bit of texture. I know some people might be a bit like feeling a bit weird about this texture, but honestly is the best way I found to create a texture like this. So basically I'm just kind of like dabbing at it to create that texture, and it's the way that works every time, and I really love how it looks, and I haven't found anything that looks better than that. So I'm sorry if you don't like that texture. Then I moved on to the brown, and this time I'm just using the brown and that's it, because I loved how like chocolatey that looks. It just, it looks delicious. And I'm doing exactly the same thing with my finger, and you can see basically after a few taps that looks perfect. It's just such an easy way to do it. And I'm applying the same kind of snake string thing with the chocolate brown, and I am just doing exactly the same thing. I'm creating that texture. Make sure you keep that line quite straight, so keep on pushing on the sides if it feels like it's moving a bit too far. And then I just decided to add some chocolate dripping from the cone down, because some cones have chocolate on the inside applied before they actually applied the ice cream scoops. And the reason why this looks really messy, and to be honest, I don't think it matters that much, but I don't think it should have looked this messy. It could look a lot better. And the reason why it looks this messy is because I made those grooves way too big. So that's why I say keep it like really nice and light, because whatever you paint on top is going to be so much easier. But just, yeah, I made a mistake, and I'm just going to be happy with it. Then I am using the Ink London in gel paint in white. This is the no wipe gel paint that they offer, and this is really nice and thick as well, the same as the 3D gels. And I'm gonna use the Artisan 4D gel in red, and I'm just gonna create a little bowl, like the tiniest bit you need to create the cherry on top. Because I felt that this needed the cherry on top. Like seriously, look how cute that is. It's just adorable. And obviously use your brush to make sure that that's stuck on there properly, because it can be quite finicky to make it stick. So yeah. Then I moved on to applying a top coat over the top of that brown, because again, that has a sticky layer, and if removed, it would get a bit matted, and it wouldn't look as nice and, you know, liquidy and delicious. So I applied the top coat, I cured it, and now I'm just applying some sprinkles all over the nail, and well, all over the chocolate and whatever that is on the top there. It might be a bit of cream, it might be some like white frosting, I have no idea. But yeah, I just thought the white is gonna be a nice pop, and then this nail is done. Then moving on to the next nail, I decided to make kind of like a plate. You know how they make those like really fancy plates that are absolutely gorgeous to look at, that you don't want to like ruin them by eating what's on the plate? Yeah, that's what I tried to make. I don't know if I succeeded necessarily, but I first started with some like chocolate drizzle over the top, and I wanted this to be like very nice and light and to have a purpose, and all the lines to be kind of even and beautiful. And I was very happy with this, and then I covered it completely and you can barely see it, but just know it's there because you've seen it in the video. But yeah, in the actual end, you're not going to be able to see much of this. Maybe if you want to do this drizzle like on a side of the nail, like where you're not going to add stuff. So, you know, maybe. Then I'm going to use those colors. First, I'm going to start with the blue in the 4D gel, and I'm going to take quite a bit of it, and I'm going to split that in half and create little spheres and apply them on my silicone pad. This silicone pad is from Ink London, by the way, if you want to have it. And then I'm gonna use again my gloved hand to just create two kind of circles, and I'm gonna cure that completely. So that went in the lamp, and whilst that was in the lamp, I created this kind of like snake. And I am going to, this is going to be very, it was so hard for me to film. It was ridiculously hard for me to film. So I'm sorry if this is not going to be like the perfect, best way for me to show you this. I hope you're going to understand what I did. So I took that snake and I put it around that cured circle. And you see that it's not like getting on all the sides, but I'm trying to make it nice and neat everywhere. And then I'm taking a bit more and I'm creating a smaller little snake, and then I am applying it on the area that's not, you know, covered with it. So to make sure that I have that 4D gel everywhere around, and then taking that tool again, this is like a dental tool. You can do this with a very tiny dotting tool or a needle or something like that. I just have this, and I'm sure that if I would use a needle I would poke myself in the finger, so I just use this because it's not as sharp. But yeah, anyway, I'm just creating that kind of texture again, and again this was so hard for me to film. And then I'm cleaning out around and making sure I pat around for all of those like little bits to not stick too much out. And if you pat it too much, you go back in with your tool and you re-add the texture. This is easy to do. But these are so finicky to create. These are the macarons, by the way. I'm sure you probably figured it out, but it was so finicky to create. It took me forever, and I'm not sure I like found the best way to create them, but I had the idea in mind. It kind of worked, so I'm happy with them. For my first macarons, I'm happy with them. They're really cute. So I did the same thing on the other one. If you're afraid you're gonna like ruin the first one whilst you're doing the second one, make sure you cure the first one and then move on to the second one. And I'm creating the same kind of texture. I'm pushing everything down so that the texture doesn't go too high up, because you don't want that either. You don't want it to take over the whole half circle. You want it to be refrained to the bottom. And then you can see here that the bottom, because it was so thick, it didn't really cure, so I turned it around, I patted it down a little bit, and you can see that that's just like running away. I have really big fingers, and I cured it. So I turned it around and I cured it, and now I just took a bowl of that pink. I think I used the bright pink for this, and I just sandwich it in between and make sure you put pressure, the same even pressure on everywhere, and then put it in the lamp. Then I used the brown and the white to create chocolate and, I don't know, cream maybe? Yeah, okay. And then I used bright pink and the purple to create that. And I would say, I don't know, I saw some that are lavender flavored. I just really loved the combination between that pink and the purple. So yeah, anyway. Then I moved on to the Ink London eye gel, which is their builder gel, and I used a really like big dollop of this, as you can see, to apply the macarons. And this is the reason why I said that these are not necessarily like wearable, because they are quite high up on the nail. And yeah, I don't know, I didn't try to wear them obviously, but and then I didn't want all of them to kind of like just lay flat, so the chocolate one, I applied some of that eye gel on the side, and then I kind of like leaned it against, and you can see it's, you know, a bit on the side there. And I'm gonna pop that in the lamp, trying not to move it at all. And you can see it moved, but just a little bit, which is great, because now it actually stays like straight up. And because I liked how it looked, I'm gonna do the same thing with the other the purple one, but this one I'm gonna lean a bit more on the blue one, just to kind of again have a different texture. Then I decided that I needed a lot more things on my plate. Well, not a lot, a few more things on my plate. So I added a little bit of that chocolate brown on the nail, and you can see I'm using my palette knife, there you go. And I dipped that in the cleanser a little bit to just make it, you know, not non-sticky. And I created this kind of rectangle with rounded sides. I tried to make a bit like a proper rectangle, but I couldn't, so I just decided it's gonna be a rectangle with rounded sides, so it's exactly what I wanted. But yeah, I did that, and then I decided, you know what, I'm gonna do it again, because who doesn't need more chocolate in their lives? So I added it again there. This could also be like, I don't know, I feel like it's chocolate, but it could also be caramel, so whatever you want. So I'm doing exactly the same thing. Again, this was very hard for me to film, and I'm really sorry. I was trying to like bring you really close up to see what I'm doing. I'm not good at filming 3D stuff, but I really wanted to show you how easy it is to create some amazing 3D like desserts kind of designs that just so delicious. I don't recommend eating them, by the way. They are toxic, okay? Don't do it. Just look at them. They're pretty. That's it. Then I decided to create some strawberries, because again I felt like there was not enough things on that plate thing. So I'm back at my little silicone pad thing, And I am creating these really rounded kind of triangles. I can't explain the shape more than this. It's exactly what it sounds like. It looks kind of like triangles. They have like a pointy area at the bottom and then not at the top. You know, I can't. You see what I'm doing, like it's so easy to create strawberries, and I just used my brush to do this because I wanted that shape, and it's so easy to use that silicone tool because you don't have to, like, you could put these straight up onto the nail and create it like that, but if you would do that you'd have to like clean up around. Yeah, you can see there's a lot of like pink coming from that 3D gel onto the silicone tool. So you could do that, but then you couldn't like put them to sit up or something like that. They would just be flat against the nail. So I kind of had in mind that they would sit up a little bit, one of them at least. So that's why I didn't do them straight on the nail. And then I'm using that like dental tool again, and I'm dipping it every time it's off screen. I'm dipping it into the cleanser and I'm kind of adding some dots all over just to make sure that you have that texture that strawberries have on the top where they have the seeds. And then I went in with that Ink London green gel paint, and I am just painting the leaves that are on the top of the strawberry. And this is just such an easy thing. It does not have to be perfect, honestly. If it's pink and red, not pink and green and red, everyone will see it as a strawberry anyway. So just don't overthink it because it's not worth it, honestly. But yeah, I'm just creating some like triangles down, and then that's basically it. I cured those, and I also flipped them as well and cured the underneath just to make sure that everything is nice and cured. And then I added those like dollops of hard gel, and I added the strawberries, one in the middle of those macarons and then one there at the bottom, as you can probably see. I then decided that this one needs to be higher up, so you can see that I made it like stand, like lean onto the macarons. So this is what you wouldn't be able to do if you were to like do them flat straight on the nail. They would just lay flat on the nail, but with this you can put them wherever you want. I could have put them on top of the macarons if I wanted to. I could move them wherever I want. Also make sure to clean up that like hard gel that seeps around. Make sure to clean it up for it to look neat. Then I decided to add some chocolates on the strawberries and then some chocolate drizzle over those like chocolates there. Maybe that's like milk chocolate and then this is dark chocolate drizzle. I don't know, but they look delicious and I want them, so yeah. And I also added some chocolate drizzle over the top of that chocolate macaron just to see how it looks. I liked it. I didn't want to do it to the other ones. They looked so pristine and beautiful, so I just did it over the top of the chocolate one just in case I didn't like it. Basically, that's why I started to do it on that. But then I decided that I liked it, but I'm not gonna do it on the other ones. Does it even make sense? No, but it's fine. Then I added some like top coat over the top of all the drizzle, and then all of them are done. And this one is my favorite, but again, it's not really wearable. You can see how high everything is, but it's just so gorgeous. So yeah, we're done. These are all done now, as you can see, and I do absolutely love them. I think they are absolutely incredible, and again, I know I'm blowing my own whistle, but I really don't care because I love them. So yeah, I hope you do too, and I hope you will give this a shot. It's something different, and honestly, you should always try something different. And it's easier than it looks. It really is. So yeah, keep that in mind. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and let me know in the comments how I did, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Okay, bye.